All right, so Elon Musk says his deal to buy Twitter is on hold. No one saw this coming. No, actually, a lot of people saw this coming. He says he's waiting for more information about how Twitter determined fake accounts make up less than 5% of the platform's users. The company's stock plummeted after the announcement. Musk then tweeted that he is still committed to buying Twitter. CBS News reporter Dan Patterson is here now to talk about what he's been learning. He's been following the story since the deal was first announced, and he has some new information from his sources. Dan, good to see you.
Yeah, good morning.
So no one, I mean, I was joking that no one saw this coming, or some people saw
I didn't see it coming.
You did not, or you did?
I didn't, that he would put the deal on hold?
It just, this is speculation, but
Okay.
the fact that, you know, he had to sell some Tesla stock and he had to put up some Tesla stock, that stock has been crushed. It's down 30% over the course of the last month. Tesla's his deal. I mean, like, Twitter is a nice to have, I would think, right?
Yeah.
And he says it's about free speech, and he, you know, and I think that that's an admirable goal if that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But Tesla is really where his bread and butter is, and if that's getting killed, I don't see how this is value.
But that's not what he's saying. What he's saying that his issue is, though I think you bring up a very, very valid point, always follow the money, but he's saying his issue is this new report that was published indicating, how the percentage of fake accounts or spam or bots or whatever. Just to remind people, not too long ago, this was not Reuters, somebody else, I think, determined that like 50% of Elon Musk's followers.
They're saying 5%. Twitter is saying it's only 5. It's less than 5%.
No, but of Elon Musk's followers.
Oh yeah, though his followers are all bots.
50% were not real. But he is not so sure about this 5% of the Twitter users.
In other words,
explain to us what's going on.
My question, just follow up on that, just to be clear, is it because he doesn't believe it's less than 5%, or because he thinks? I'm not sure. I don't understand what that problem with the 5%.
Yeah, because that would be
Twitter
good,
report. You would think that would be good.
Yeah.
You're looking at me like I should.
Yeah, we were waiting for you. Were going to rub your head.
You're the oracle.
Well,
Explain all
look,
this
first,
to us.
Musk is kind of a Trump-like figure. He says things for engagement, generously, we'll say for engagement, right? We can't always take him at his word. There's a lot of meta behind whatever he says. But let's go to this 5% assessment that there is a significant portion of Twitter that is inauthentic, right? This is not news. I mean, it's been happening for a long time, and it's been suggested for a long time that Twitter could cut down on this by simply adding a real name requirement or a phone number or something. I mean, they ask for your phone number. That's easily faked as well. But to adopt a system much like Facebook, where you have some sort of requirement that can verify your identity, Twitter's had the capability of doing that for a long time. They haven't. Many people have speculated that's because there's just a lot of inauthentic activity on Twitter.
Because
it benefits them?
Point, though, is 5% supposed to be high or low? Because it seems low to me.
Seems low to me, too.
It seems low to me as well. Yeah. But that might be an assessment that is reasonably, like we could verify that. Look, you can just go to the fake follower checker and plunk in a username, and it'll look for various factors, and including, like, is their profile picture? Has this person tweeted in a long time? Have they set a username? And it's maybe not totally reliable, but it's not a bad place to go to just check the authenticity of an account.
So, well, why wouldn't Twitter do those things? I mean, is it because... Right. So, in other words, they are happy to have a bunch of, a bunch of bots and fake accounts because it inflates their numbers and it makes it look that it's as if it's bigger than it is. In other words, a tweet that gets retweeted 10,000 times and only, 40% of those are real people, it's not as powerful as...
Yeah, look. Right. So Twitter is not like Facebook in that Facebook is kind of siloed, right? And it's hard to get a sense of activity in one group or one friend group because it's all kind of siloed into different channels, right? Twitter, it's all out there, right? So exactly, Vlad, I don't have to have a Twitter account if I look at a retweet and say, hey, there's 5,000. That must have what we call social proof, right? There's a lot of people who are engaging with this account. And it's also, we've known for a long time, it's incredibly easy, including right now, to go and buy Twitter bots. You can do this really easily. In 2018, the New York Times did a headline story about a company called Devumi that was caught selling fake accounts or fake followers to celebrities. In 2016, on the campaign, I was working for a smaller branch of Tech Republic, of CBS called Tech Republic, and we just looked at the data, just the data from Twitter, and we found that a significant portion of Donald Trump's followers were inauthentic. They were fake. So I don't I don't want to speculate about Elon Musk or his motives. I did speak with two people very early this morning, and they said that, look, this is pretty apparent to Musk, and he is a very smart person. He's known this for a long time.
Right.
And again, these are just two sources, but they both said that one was an analyst, one was at Twitter. They both said, this is a really, really easy way for Musk to, if not back out of the deal, kind of maybe change the conditions of the deal.
But then what does this mean for the future of Twitter? We already know, one of the things that he wanted to do was make it profitable, because it's not. I think I just read this morning that, like, 2 executives were fired, so they actually sort of already started making moves. If he backs out of the deal, what does that mean?
One of those executives was fired while on paternity leave at late or very short notice. I did reach out and didn't hear anything yet, but we'll let you know if we do. I mean, what does this mean for the future of Twitter? Look, it has gone through so many ups and downs, so many different CEOs, so many different direction changes. I mean, what does this mean? The new normal for Twitter is probably the same as it has been, which is it's a seesaw. Right. It is almost entertaining to follow the direction of Twitter itself as much as using the platform.
The one question that I will have as this plays out is, it's been reported that Elon Musk would have to pay $1 billion if he decided not to buy the company for whatever reason. I wonder, and maybe this isn't a question for you, Dan, but I wonder if by pointing out the fact that he's got concerns about the number of fake and bot accounts on Twitter, you can say, well, hey, this wasn't a part of the deal. I didn't know this before you put your company up for sale or before I decided to buy it. So technically, I don't have to pay the $1 billion because the conditions changed.
Yeah,
that's a question that maybe an
the
analyst will know, but I don't have the answer.
Yeah, and I did reach out to analysts very early this morning. Some were active, and they said, look, this is a good way for him to do exactly that, Vlad, to say, hey, the conditions, the terms have changed, and I'm just not going to be involved. Although he did tweet just before we went to air, he did just tweet that the deal was still on. So, I mean, who knows? This is very Trumpian in that you can't really believe what he says because it'll change in 2 minutes.
It's like Darth Vader in Empire. I've altered the deal.
Yes,
I don't
that's
alter
exactly
it
right.
further.
I just need Elon to just dip it for a little bit.
This is all very fascinating. It's all very fascinating as it's happening because it's got it's a confluence of technology and politics and free speech. You've got people who are supportive of Elon's, the fact that he, for example, suggested that he would allow President Trump back onto the platform, and some people are applauding that. And so it's just a lot of different elements to this story.
Entertaining, if nothing else.
It really is.
Indeed.
It really is.
Unless you're invested.
Unless you own Twitter stock or Tesla stock.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
All right, Dan, thank you so much.
Good to see you.